A friend asks you to send them a security code. A family member suddenly needs to borrow money. Or a familiar retailer tells you, "Congratulations, you've won." Would you know when to stop and check? Welcome to part 2 of Facebook scams, stories and beyond. Today I have 3 more stories for you. And although the scams are different, they all take advantage of something we use every day: trust. These scams have happened and they continue to happen. So let's look at how they work, what we should watch for, and what we can do to protect ourselves. Thank you for watching this video. Please stay with me until the end of it. Also, please support my channel by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Every week, I upload videos about real scam stories. Understanding how these scams work is only part of what I want to share with you. After we've looked at the stories, we'll talk about the practical things you can do to reduce your chances of becoming a victim and what you can do if something suspicious does happen. Because the goal isn't simply to recognize a scam after someone has lost money or after an account has been compromised. The goal is to recognize when something isn't right, know what to do next, and make it much harder for the scam to succeed. And that brings me to something I think is important. We hear a lot about cyber awareness. Government campaigns and other organizations have done a great job reminding us to be careful online. But is awareness enough? I don't think it is. Awareness helps us recognize the danger. Cyber resilience helps us prepare for it, respond to it, and recover if something goes wrong. This is why I created the Cyber Resilience Toolkit Suite. They aren't books that tell you what to do. They're practical working toolkits designed to help you look at your own situation. See where you are already protected, identify the gaps, and decide what you can improve. You don't need to be an IT expert. You simply need to be willing to become better prepared. There are 3 toolkits in this suite: the Personal Cyber Safety Toolkit, the Small Business Cyber Resilience Toolkit, and the Secure Communications and Vendor Security Toolkit. You'll find the link to my website and the toolkits below this video. In part 1, we looked at our first 3 Facebook scam stories. Today, we're continuing with story 4. And it starts with what sounds like a very simple request from a friend. Can you help me get back into my account? Let's imagine this happens to a woman named Helen, not her real name. It's early evening. She's sitting on the sofa, scrolling through Facebook when a messenger notification appears. It's from an old friend, someone she's known for years. The message says, "I've been locked out of my account. Facebook is going to send you a code. Can you send the code back to me?" Helen doesn't immediately think scam. Why would she? The message has come from her friend's Facebook account. She recognizes the photograph. She recognizes the name. And her friend isn't asking for money. She's only asking for help. A few moments later, a code arrives on Helen's phone. Helen looks at it. Then she goes back to Messenger, copies the code, and sends it to her friend. "Thanks," comes the reply. Helen puts down her phone. As far as she's concerned, she just helped an old friend get back into her Facebook account. But a little while later, something strange happens. Helen tries to open Facebook. She can't get in. She tries again. Her password isn't working. Then she notices an email about a change to her account. And suddenly, Helen is the one who's been locked out. That security code wasn't for her friend's account. It was for Helen's. And the person she'd been talking to wasn't her friend. Her friend's Facebook account had already been compromised. The scammer had used the trusted account to contact Helen, and Helen had unknowingly given them the code they needed to get into hers. One compromised account had just helped the scammer compromise another. Now let's go to the fifth story, the hacked friend. Imagine another situation. This time, let's call our character David. It's Wednesday afternoon and David receives a messenger notification from his cousin Michael. Hi, I hate to ask this, but I'm in a bit of trouble. Could you lend me $500 until Friday? David pauses. Michael has never asked him for money before, but families help each other. And $500 isn't an impossible amount. David looks at the message again. The profile photograph is Michael. The name is Michael. It's the same Facebook account they've used to talk to each other before. There are even years of their conversation sitting right there in Messenger. So why wouldn't David believe him? David replies, "What's happened?" A message comes back almost immediately. Michael says there's a problem with his bank account. He needs to pay something today, but he can't access his money. "I'll pay you back on Friday, I promise." David is still a little unsure, so he asks, "Is this really you?" The answer comes back, "Of course it's me." Maybe there's even a little joke or a reference to something the scammer has found in Michael's Facebook account. Just enough to make David feel reassured. So David sends the $500. Michael thanks him, and David goes back to his day. Friday comes. David hasn't received the money back. So this time, he calls Michael. "Hi, just checking when you'll be able to send that $500 back." Michael is confused. "What $500? David explains. There's silence. Then Michael says, "David, I never asked you for money." That's when they realize what has happened. Michael's Facebook account had been compromised. The photograph was Michael's. The name was Michael's. The account was Michael's. The previous conversations were real. But the person asking David for $500 wasn't Michael. And by the time David discovered that, the money was gone. For our final story, story 6, let's imagine our character Susan is scrolling through Facebook one Saturday morning. She's not looking for anything in particular. She's simply scrolling. And then something catches her attention. A post from what appears to be a major retailer. There are photographs of brand new televisions stacked inside a warehouse. The post says, "We're giving away 50 televisions because the boxes were damaged. All you have to do is comment, share the post, and perhaps tag a few friends." Susan looks at the comments. There are thousands of them. People are tagging friends. You should enter this. I'd love one. Done and shared. The company logo looks right. The photographs look professional. And there are so many people participating that the whole thing feels legitimate. Susan thinks, well, there's no harm in entering, so she comments, she shares the post, and then she forgets about it. Later that day, a message arrives. Congratulations, you're one of our winners. Susan reads it again. She's won a television. For a moment, there's that little burst of excitement. She actually won. There's just one small thing. She needs to pay $19.95 for shipping. Susan thinks about it. A brand new television for $19.95? Even with the shipping, that's an incredible bargain. So she enters her card details and pays. Then another message arrives. There's a small insurance charge before the television can be dispatched. Then there's a processing fee. Each amount is small enough that Susan thinks, well, I've already come this far. And she doesn't want to lose the television she supposedly won. So she pays again and again, but the television never arrives. Eventually, the messages stop. The page disappears. And Susan realizes there was never a damaged box. There was never a free television, and there was never a prize. The giveaway existed for one reason: to convince people like Susan to hand over their money and their card details. So, how do we protect ourselves? We've now seen 3 more Facebook scam scenarios. In story 4, someone who appeared to be your friend asked you to send them a security code. In story 5, someone using our cousin's Facebook account asked us for money. And in story 6, what appeared to be a legitimate retailer told us we'd won a giveaway. 3 different scams, but there's something connecting all 3. Trust. In each story, we're being asked to trust the identity in front of us. Our friend, our cousin, a company we recognize. And that's what can make these scams difficult. Because we're not necessarily dealing with something that looks suspicious. We're dealing with something that looks familiar. So our protection isn't simply about learning how to recognize a suspicious message. It's about knowing when we should stop and independently verify who or what we're actually dealing with. Let's go through the 3 stories again. And this time, let's focus on what we can do. Let's start with our friend who supposedly needs help getting back into their Facebook account. They tell us Facebook is going to send a code to our phone. The code arrives, and because we believe we're helping a friend, we might be tempted to send it to them. My recommendation? Don't. Never give another person a security or authentication code that was sent to you. If a code arrives on your phone or through an authentication system, stop. Read the message that came with it. What does it actually say? What account is the code for? And most importantly, did you request it? If you didn't initiate the login or recovery process, don't approve it. Don't send the code to somebody else. And don't assume it's safe simply because the request appears to come from someone you know. Security codes exist for one very important reason: to help prove that you are you. The moment you hand that code to somebody else, you may be helping them prove that they are you. That's the part I want you to remember. Your security code is for you, not your friend, not your cousin, not someone claiming to help you with your account. Protect the code. Now, let's go back to the cousin story. They suddenly message us, "I'm in trouble. Could you lend me $500 until Friday?" The Facebook account may be genuine. The photograph may be genuine. The name may be genuine. Perhaps even years of your previous conversations are sitting right there in Messenger. But none of that proves that your cousin is the person typing the message right now. That's a distinction. The account may belong to your cousin, but somebody else may be controlling it. So if someone you know unexpectedly asks you for money or anything sensitive, confirm the request outside Facebook. Call them. And don't use a phone number they suddenly send you in Messenger. Use the number you already have, or contact another family member who can verify what's happening. And don't simply type, "Is this really you?" into the same Messenger conversation. Think about it. If a scammer controls the account, what are they going to say? Of course they'll say, "Yes, it's me." If necessary, ask something only the real person is likely to know. But where possible, use another communication channel. And this isn't about distrusting your family and friends. It's about protecting them as well. Because if your cousin's Facebook account has been compromised, they may have no idea that somebody is using their identity to ask friends and family for money. Your phone call might actually be the first indication that they receive that something is wrong. Remember to confirm the request. And finally, let's go back to that television ad or laptop or whatever fantastic prize we're supposedly about to receive. Perhaps the post says, "We can't sell this because the boxes were damaged." There are photographs, a familiar company logo, thousands of comments, people are sharing the post. And eventually, we're told, "You've won. Congratulations." This is where excitement can take over. So before clicking anything, before giving anyone your details, and certainly before paying anything, go to the organization independently. Don't use the link provided in the giveaway post. Don't use the contact details supplied by the person who tells you you've won. Find the company's official website or official social media presence. Then check, is this promotion actually running? If it's a genuine company running a genuine competition, you should be able to verify it independently and quickly. And be extremely cautious when a supposedly free prize suddenly starts costing you money. You just need to pay shipping, there's a small insurance fee, there's a processing charge. We need your credit card details to verify you. Stop. Ask yourself, why am I paying money to receive something I've supposedly won for free? The word free shouldn't gradually turn into a series of payments. And don't allow the number of likes, comments, or shares to do the verifying for you, because thousands of people can share the same false information. Thousands of people can respond to the same scam. And 1,000 people believing something doesn't make it true. Popularity is not verification. So check the source. Don't let the profile do the verifying for you. There's one more lesson connecting all three stories. We naturally use visual cues as shortcuts for trust. We see our friend's photograph, so we think it's our friend. We see our cousin's Facebook account, so we think we're talking to our cousin. We see a similar retailer's name and logo, so we think we're dealing with that retailer. And most of the time, we probably don't even think about it. We recognize something familiar, and familiarity gives us a sense of trust. But here's the problem. Those things tell us what an account looks like. They don't necessarily tell us who is controlling it. That's an important distinction. A genuine account can be compromised. A profile can be copied. A photograph can be copied. A company name or logo can be copied. And with today's technology, it's becoming easier to create something that looks convincing. So when the request involves something important, money, account access, security codes, personal information, or financial information, don't let the profile do the verifying for you. Verify independently, because seeing something familiar isn't the same as knowing it is genuine. And that's the lesson I want you to take from these 3 stories. Familiar doesn't necessarily mean verified. 3 things we must remember. If you forget everything else from these 3 stories, remember these 3 things. Number 1, protect the code. A security or authentication code sent to you is for you. Don't give it to somebody else. If you didn't request the code, stop and find out why you received it and protect the code. Number 2, confirm the request. If a friend or family member unexpectedly asks you for money or something sensitive, contact them another way. Call the number you already have. And remember, don't let the same Facebook account making the request also be the account that verifies the request. Confirm the request separately. Number 3, check the source. If a company advertises that they're giving away something or tells you you've won something, go independently to the company and verify it. Verify the company. If it's a legitimate company, call them and verify the promotion on Facebook. Don't use the link in the message to do everything, to do the verifying. Find the company yourself and don't let the giveaway verify itself. Check the source. So 3 things. Protect the code, confirm the request, check the source. And there's one larger lesson connecting all 3. Familiar doesn't necessarily mean verified. A familiar photograph, a familiar name, a familiar Facebook account, or a familiar company logo can make us feel safe, and that's understandable. But when someone asks us for money, account access, security codes, personal information, or financial information, that's a moment to stop relying on familiarity. Instead, start verifying independently. You don't have to distrust everyone. You just need to know when trust needs to be checked, because trust is valuable and scammers know it. Facebook connects billions of people. Family, friends, communities, businesses, and unfortunately scammers. But I don't want you to leave this video frightened of every Facebook message, every friend request, or every giveaway you see. I want you to live a little more prepared, because as we've seen from these 3 stories, sometimes the danger comes from something that looks completely familiar. a message from a friend asking for help, a cousin suddenly asking to borrow money, or a giveaway from what appears to be a company we recognize. And that's what we can make these scams difficult. We see a familiar name, a familiar photograph, a familiar Facebook account, a familiar company logo, and naturally, we're more inclined to trust what we're seeing. But here's to remember, familiar doesn't necessarily mean verified. So if someone asks you for a security code, protect the code. If a friend or family member unexpectedly asks you for money, confirm the request. And if a company tells you you've won something, check the source. You don't need to become suspicious of everyone around you. You just need to recognize those moments when trust needs a little help from verification. And if you know somebody who spends a lot of time on Facebook, especially a parent, grandparent, friend, or neighbor, please share this video with them. Better still, sit down with them over a cup of tea and talk about some of these stories. Because one day, a friend may ask them for a security code, a family member may suddenly need money, or a message may arrive saying, "Congratulations, you've won." And something from this conversation might make them stop for just a moment. Perhaps they'll make a phone call. Perhaps they'll check the company's real page. Perhaps they'll simply decide not to send that code. And that moment might be enough. And we're not finished yet. In part 3 of Facebook Scams, Stories and Beyond, we're going to look at the final stories in this series. And those stories will take us into another side of online deception, where scammers can exploit authority, opportunity, relationships, and even our identity. Before I end this video, I'd also like to remind you about the Cyber Resilience Toolkit Suite. I created this suite as practical working toolkits, not simply something to read, but something you can actually work through to assess your current protection, identify gaps, and take practical steps to become more cyber resilient. There are 3: the Personal Cyber Safety Toolkit, the Small Business Cyber Resilience Toolkit, and the Secure Communications and Vendor Security Toolkit. You'll find the link to the Toolkit Suite below this video. Please have a look. And thank you for joining me today for Facebook Scams, Stories and Beyond. If you have a cybersecurity question you'd like me to discuss in a future video, send it over to me. If you found today's discussion helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, share it with someone who might benefit from it. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and keep building your cyber resilience.